I'd call that a success. Here is the trigger. Look at that. It's a little bit closer to the finger portion than it is to the bottom. And it takes up like a decent amount of, literally, of the trigger space. It's like almost halfway, a little bit more than halfway, something like that. Anyways, yeah, I wanted it to, the top of it to get to about a third of the way down. So I think I did it. And I did chamfer the edges. Boy, it's going to focus on me and not this. That's helpful. There you go. You can see the bevel there. So I did it to 12. And then I took a 0 flute countersinking bit and ran it just a little bit more. I don't know if that's 13 or 12 and a half, but yeah. And look at that, there are voids. This is a cast metal item. And when I drilled through, I found these pockets of air from the cast. Let's see. You can see some. Let me back this up right there too. Sorry, it's not focusing. Is that going to focus? No. Even if I tap the... Boy, it just doesn't want to. That's fine. That's fine. But there are those voids in there. And yeah, it's beveled. And I ran a buffing wheel around the inside of it and a grinding stone to get any burrs. Yeah, that's pretty clean. I would say so. It's like, maybe it's a hair bigger, but like, I almost don't think so. I was going to put it back together to see the ratio and how it sits. I can't, material's gone, so I can't put material back, but just to kind of gauge how we did. All right, let's put this back together. I'll do it like this. Now there's that pin in there that I left in. If I remember, there were 3 springs. Or maybe just 2. Anyways, this goes in here. And the trigger sits in front of the spring. So... oh, I remember now. See, this is why this slides on there. Look at that. And then this on the back. And then all of this goes in there. Look at that. And this, both of those springs get compressed by this nut. So we're going to put that in, try to get it to engage first by hand. And it did. Oh, let's use the piano tuning bit. Not with the power bit. I don't think we need to, crank this down yet. Because I might, when I paint it, I might take it apart again. There we go. And let's see if this works. It still clicks. Yeah, and yeah, I'd say, let's do this here. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'd say, yeah. I can see how mine is a little bigger ratio-wise. But they did lengthen the trigger and made it more angular. So when it comes to the real trigger, yeah, there's meat behind it and above it, and it is closer to this than it is to this. That gives the right ratio to me. I like that. Let's get the barrel back on. There is this interesting little, there it is. There's this sliding thing, and then this is the latch, which is not the same length on both sides, so there is a right way to do it. And it's held in with these screws right here. Let's get some light in here. Yeah, interesting, right? And there's this floppy thing that sits right in here, and that is part of the stop for the opening pin. And I had some trouble getting it in before, so this is a very tight fit. So let's get these in. Let's see here. It's a very tight fit. And I think it's because both of these things were machined separately. And they wanted them to be a snug fit. Right, so there's that. And then I'm gonna slide this in and then see, sometimes, yeah, see, sometimes it gets stuck like that because there's something is like off center. Yeah, okay. So let's open this up again and wiggle this around till I can get it. Ha! That click means it's sinking down. It's got to pass through all three, I believe. Is that going to do it? Actually, I think it might. I think it might. Now let's see if I put the floppy thing back in the right place, at the right angle. Before I crank it down. And then push this to open it, just like, all right, I think I did it. As Matthew McConaughey would say, all right, all right, all right. And maybe I'll just leave it like that, finger tight. There we go. And look at that. It actually clicks. I love when replica or, you know, not real firearms click so that the prop feels like you're actually using it. And I think the next step, we're going to cut it a certain distance away. There we go. And yeah, so once again, I'll kind of compare the distance after this stuff. Compare it to the rest of the gun and see if there's something that I can compare it to, just ratio-wise, if it's like a quarter of this or if it's the same size as this or something. And then I'll take whatever measurement that is, cut it with a power hacksaw, because I have one of those now. Just because this is steel. I could do a regular hacksaw. Might take a while with some cutting oil. But, oh, I can show you. Let's see here. There's the actual logo, Sedgley, 1944. I don't know if I'm going to keep that, since you have to cut it here anyways. I'm going to have this section with the date on it, and this is not on the original. This, I called it a mohawk or something, but it's not on the original, and that really, it'll say Sedgley Pistol Mark V. I could keep that on there. Don't know. I like how it is parallel. There's a parallel slot here. And that won't be there if I don't grind that off. It's like conservation versus prop replica making. What do you do? Sometimes temporary things leave the prop delicate. You know, you can't handle it and stuff will fall apart. And you didn't really fully go through the same experience as the prop makers did. I like to handle my prop replicas. Like, that's part of the joy from them. And like, if you can't get that joy, it's like, I made a sculpture, leave it behind glass. And it's like, that doesn't quite feel like what I want out of this stuff. Well, that was cool. That was a success. I didn't take pictures of the actual drilling. I'll put that on my RPF thread. Yeah, there it is. I feel accomplished, minorly. I'll see you next time.